Back now with Bill Tyson at the Bark in the Park. And Bill, tell us a little bit about what's going on here today. I know you have a special section here that you were happy to talk about.
Yes. One of the most popular services and offerings here at the Fall Festival is what's happening behind us here, and that's our veterinary clinic, where we're offering low-cost vaccines and microchipping with one of our vets, Dr. Kim Bodwin, a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania Veterinary School. And this is usually one of our most popular features. We offer these sort of low-cost clinics at the shelter about 8 to 9 times a year, and then once a year come out here to the park. One of the aspects of animal care that we really try to emphasize is wellness. And if we can offer some of these key services, such as vaccines and microchipping, at a low cost, people will take advantage of that who, in many cases may not be able to afford the full cost of those services. But microchipping is so important to be able to return a lost pet to its owner. And, of course, vaccines are so important just for the general health of an animal.
And what a difference a few years makes, I bet, too. Times where these things weren't done, people didn't look at their dogs or cats, thinking about vaccinations. And now, it's pretty commonplace and quite necessary.
Right. It's just like human health, right? We need checkups on a periodic basis, and as our vets administer the microchip or the vaccines, they can also do a quick check to see if there's anything that the animal's owner might want to follow up on. We also have started offering some wellness clinics with a little bit more full service at the shelter on a weekly basis. So individuals that might need a little bit more attention for their animal can come and spend some time with one of our vets each Wednesday at the shelter for a little bit more of a comprehensive exam.
And for folks who weren't able to get out here who might be interested in some vaccines or in microchipping, how can they get in touch?
The easiest way for those who have internet access is the SPCA's website at delcospca.org. We offer these low-cost clinics typically the first Monday of the month, unless there's a holiday that might change the schedule. Or they can call the SPCA at 610-566-1370 and get some more details.
Obviously, adoption, a huge part of what you're doing with the SPCA, and I know folks have a chance to come out here and take a look at some of the great dogs that need homes, forever homes. But tell me, why is it so important for folks to go out and go through the SPCA and adopt a dog in need instead of going, say, especially to a pet store? Right?
Yeah, we do have behind us some cats that are available for adoption and a number of dogs who are walking around and interacting with the folks here. But we do strongly encourage folks who are considering a pet to consider giving a second chance to a homeless animal. Overpopulation is a problem across the country, and buying from a breeder, buying from a pet store can encourage that to increase. There are just many wonderful animals that you can get at the SPCA, and we'll probably do about 2,200 adoptions this year. And when you multiply that over the last 10 years, that's 20,000 families in Delaware County that have found their new best friend at the SPCA. We do encourage those who have adopted to come out today and be part of our alumni group. They can obtain a bandana. They can put on their dog or cat, or they can wear it themselves if they'd like. But it's really one of the messages we try to convey is there's just a wonderful selection of cats, dogs, and sometimes some other kinds of small animals available at the SPCA. And really anyone who has the resources and the time to take care of an animal is certainly welcome to come in. And our staff will help to find the right animal for a person's particular situation, particularly with dogs, the different energy levels, the different amount of care that a dog might take. Sometimes that requires a little bit more thought than a cat that tends to be a little bit less energy and typically an indoor animal. So we have a great variety. Many of them are here today for folks to take a look at, and it really helps to address the overpopulation and give some really terrific animals a second chance by coming to a place like the SPCA.
And if someone is interested in adopting, what is the cost generally, and also what other qualifications must a person have to be able to get a dog or a cat?
Right. Yeah, they can certainly, the best way is to come out to the shelter and see the animals. Many of them are available through our website, on a website called petfinder.com. Really, if people have the resources to be able to provide food and vet care and the time to spend with an animal, that's really all that's required. If you live in an apartment, you need to have landlord's permission, some things like that. And that's where I mentioned this. Our staff can really help potential adopters determine what would be the best match for them. Prices vary, and they're all on our website as well. I would say generally, $50 up to maybe $300. The higher scale might be for a puppy, particularly if it's a purebred puppy, might have a higher price. And sometimes people think that's high, but when you think of an animal that could be part of your life for 15 years, a $300 investment is not out of line. But we run some specials sometimes for some of our maybe senior cats. We'll offer some incentives to people. So I think there's every type of animal for every type of interest and every type of price range.
We thank Bill Tyson, president of the Delaware County SPCA.
Delaware County's Most Wanted. Christopher Kephart, last known address Russey Street, Philadelphia, charged with endangering the welfare of a child, possession of drug paraphernalia, and wanted for probation violation. Loretta Turner, last known address South Chester Pike, Glen Olden, charged with burglary, theft, and wanted for probation violation. Brian Edward Napper, last known address Chestnut Street, Derby, charged with possession of a firearm without a license, wanted for probation violation. Daniel Lucas, last known address Crescent Drive, Glen Olden, charged with simple assault and wanted for probation violation. Chad Hammond Sr., charged with possessing an instrument of crime, simple assault, possession of marijuana, wanted for probation violation and failure to pay child support. Clint Lucard, last known address Bala Avenue, Ballackinwood, charged with attempting to sell a non-controlled substance and wanted for probation violation. To make anonymous reports or for more information, call 1-877-R-WANTED or visit DelcoMostWanted.com.
You'll find classic dining in a casual setting when you visit the historic Lamb Tavern in Springfield. Delicious all-American cuisine, newly renovated dining room and bar, exceptional banquet facilities, a great place to meet for a meal, for a drink, or to celebrate a special day. It's always a pleasure to visit The Lamb, where historic charm combines with excitement and class right here in Springfield. Find menus and more information online at lambtavern.com.
Optonacre Incorporated. Let's talk trash. We have been serving the Delaware Valley since 1969 and have established a reputation for reliability and consistently great service. We offer personalized services to meet your exact needs. We do recycling, roll-off and container service, compactors, bulk cleanup, and more. Demolition services are also available. Call Optonacre Incorporated at 610-459-3515 or find us online at optonacre.com.
On January 14, 2010, Chester Police Department were in the area of the 300 block of West Maury Street in the city of Chester for an armed robbery call involving 3 suspects. While checking the area, a male was seen heading towards North Wetherill Street, then turned east on West 23rd Street. The male pulled his hood up and dropped a black item to the ground from his left hand. The male was stopped and identified as David Wilson. The officer walked back to the spot where the item was dropped and found a black Sig Sauer .40 caliber handgun. The weapon was brought back to the area where Wilson was, and he blurted out that he was scared and dropped the weapon. Wilson stated the weapon was loaded, but only with 1 bullet. The weapon was later found to be stolen out of the city of Chester. Wilson had a previous robbery charge as a juvenile in 2008. Wilson was charged with former convict not to possess a firearm. Wilson was awaiting trial for that charge when he was prematurely released from the prison. Wilson is still at large. His last known address is 122 West 22nd Street in the city of Chester. David Wilson is also known as David West. He is a 19-year-old African-American male. He stands 5 foot 9 inches tall and weighs approximately 195 pounds. If you have any information on the whereabouts of David West Wilson, please call the Sheriff's Office Wanted Hotline at 1-877-R-WANTED. Please make no attempts to apprehend this individual on your own. Call the Sheriff's Office or 911 immediately.